Hey guys, it's Lisa. Welcome to Banning, Panning and Beyond and a new collab that I am doing for 2022 with Andrea from Pretty as a Peacock. So kind of similar to Pan, that signed collab that I was doing with her last year in regards to using common singles within our collections to build a theme palette. So we decided that we're mainly going to use those singles that are in common, but we may also pull palettes in that we have in common as well. And for January, we decided to start with the theme for Australia, or Australia, because Australia Day is on the 26th of January. Now, I did help pick some of the colours, but I sort of said to Andrea, you know, whatever, when you think of Australia, what really represents Australia to you, what comes to mind. So I will run through the 6 concepts that we chose and what colours they brought to mind, what shades that we ended up picking to match those. So Andrea did mention Ayers Rock, and for Ayers Rock she suggested that we pick a terracotta color. So for that one we actually chose M Cosmetics, and the shade is called Terracotta, and it's a matte. So I'm going to swatch it for you. Hopefully I haven't rushed into this too much, and that it all makes sense, but you know, as the collab goes along, it will make more sense to you. And we didn't put much thought into whether or not the shades that we chose were going to create a cohesive color story or not, so that's going to be part of the challenge. Now, I ended up suggesting that we do the Australian sporting colours, which is green and gold, and I also wanted to try and actually use some singles from 2 Australian indie brands, which we did successfully use. So for green, we actually chose the Glaminatrix Cosmetics shade out of the Silent Night palette, and it is called Mistletoe, another matte, which is unusual. Andrea and I really struggle to have mattes in common. Most of them are multi-chromes or shimmers. So we have, this is Mistletoe here. It's a nice dark green matte. And for the gold is actually more of a yellow sort of gold, and it's again another matte. For that one we chose M Cosmetics, now I may pronounce this wrong, Maracuja Mousse. So I will swatch that one for you as well. So there's the green and gold, which actually looks pretty close to, maybe I'll insert a photo up on the screen of the green and gold that we use. Now the next one that we chose, we're sort of bouncing between kangaroos and koalas. So to think of kangaroo and koala fur, we ended up going with a taupe shade, and the one we got from that was from Sydney Grace, and it's called Tiara. It is a metallic, so we got a nice mix of metallics and mattes for this particular month. So that's it there. So it's actually quite a warm taupe. And then Andrea came up with Sydney Opera House. So for that, I guess when most people think of Sydney Opera House, they think of the big white sails, and we ended up going with Fairy Lights, and that was also out of the Silent Night palette. Now it is described as a white, gold and silver shimmer. Think of Opera House, think glamour, so that's where the gold and silver come in. So I will swatch that for you. Now Andrea says she already has a fair idea what sort of look she's going to create with this. I have no idea, so it's going to be interesting. And then the last shade I suggested was a shade to represent Bondi Beach, which is a very famous Australian beach. So let me know in the comments if you're from overseas, whether or not you have indeed heard of Bondi Beach or not. And of course, for that, we had to choose blue. Now, we ended up going with another Australian indie brand, Enchanted Luster Cosmetics. And for that, we chose Aqua Prism. Now, Andrea has the single compact. I only have it in the palette. So that's the palette there. And this is the shade Aqua Prism. So you can see it goes from an aqua to a dark blue. So it's going to be interesting when I swatch it to see how it comes across on camera to you guys. It's an actual, oh yeah, you can definitely see more of the aqua. So there you've got the color of the ocean. So, yeah, that's an interesting color story that we have to work with. Definitely, I think the blue is probably throwing me the most. But anyway, I am going to see what sort of look I can create with these 6 shades. And if we need to, we agreed that we could both bring in other shades from our collections. They don't necessarily have to be shades that we have in common. It could be anything that we want to bring in just to round the look out. So yeah, I'm not really sure where I'm going to go with it, but let's just get into it and see what I can come up with. So I'm probably going to speed through the footage of me doing the look, just because I don't want the video, as per usual, to go on too long. So I think to start off with, I'm going to go in with Maracuja Mousse just for my transition shade. So okay, so that is it. I definitely love Aqua Prism. Yeah, let's see how it all comes together once I come back with the usual finishing touches, and we'll see how I go with choosing a lippy. So I will be back in just a sec. Okay, here's the completed look. So I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. So unfortunately, with Aqua Prism on the lid, the camera is not picking up the dark blue shift, but it is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I think the first palette that Andrea and I chose for this year was actually really nice. But let me know in the comments what you think of the final look. What do you think of the shade Aqua Prism? Yeah, so with that said, I'm going to get going, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.